दधामि द्रविणं हविष्मते सुप्राभ्ये यजमानाय सुन्मते. That was the last part of the second mantra. There is a yajamana, the sacrificer, and he has extracted the soma juice. He has kept it with him and is offering the oblations of soma juice into the fire with great devotion and fervor to such a person who is doing the sacrifice properly, keeping to the rules of the game. I give him wealth, I give him whatever he wants. Then we go to the third mantra, which is rather difficult to understand. Aham Rashtre Sangamani Vasunam Chikitushi Prathama Yajnanam Tam Ma Deva Vyadadhuhu Purutra Bhuristhatram Bhuri Aveshayanti. Aham Rashtre Aham Vasunam Sangamani Aham Chikitushi Aham Yajnanam Prathama Tam Bhuristhatram Bhuri Aveshayanti Mam Devaha Purutra Vyadadhuhu. As pointed out earlier in my talks, Vedic Sanskrit is rather difficult to follow, and each branch of the Vedas has its own rules of grammar. So the commentators like Sayanacharya, following in the footsteps of the great tradition and also the particular Vedanga, they have given their interpretation to these mantras. Aham Rashtre Sarvasya Jagatah Ishvari. We are very familiar with the word Rashtra, nation, country. One who possesses the nation or country is Rashtri. And here Sayana says Sarvasya Jagatah Ishvari. She is the mistress of the whole universe. She is the ruler and controller of the whole universe, including all the worlds which are compressed within that. So universe or Jagat or Prapancha consists of 14 worlds according to the Puranas, 7 above and 7 below, and the Bhu or earth comes in between. So all these worlds which have been created by the Supreme Lord are being ruled over by the Divine Mother because she is the Shakti of the Supreme. Vasunam Sangamani Dhananam Sangamayitri Upasakanam Prapayitri. The word Vasu in general means dhana or wealth. Definitions given in the etymological dictionaries of Sanskrit language are sometimes very interesting. What is the meaning of the word dhana? Dhanati iti dhanam. Of course, during those days they didn't have notes as we have today, so they had only gold and silver coins. Suppose there is a bag containing gold or silver coins, you shake them, it makes sound. Dhan, 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 like that, it makes sound. Dhanati iti dhanam. So it is called as dhana because it makes sound. Dhana means not only physical wealth, but also anything that is a means to our physical happiness. Generally, when we have money, when we have wealth, we can get all the good things of life. And the person who is performing sacrifice or who is meditating upon the divine or worshipping the divine, he or she does so with a particular desire, generally speaking. desireless meditation or prayer or worship is rather rare. And we should not forget that almost all the rishis who have given us these mantras were householders, and they did not neglect the world and the life here and now. So, the Vagamhrani Devi the Rishi is telling us, Vasunam Sangamani, Dhananam Sangamayitri, people who worship me, who meditate upon me, who pray for worldly wealth, I give that wealth to them. In a higher sense, Upasakanam Prapayitri. Now there are Upasakas. What is Upasana? Upa, near, asana, being seated. To be seated near God, to feel the presence of the divine within us. The literal meaning of the word Upasana is feeling the presence of the Lord within us by sitting near Him. But in a more technical sense, it means meditation. Upasana. Upasaka is one who is meditating upon the divine, upon the various aspects of the divine. Why do we meditate upon God? Either we want to get small little petty things of this world which we cannot get with our human efforts, or we want to get something higher, blessedness, peace, joy, bliss. Whatever it is from or through the Divine Mother that we get all these things. Upasakanam prapayitri. The devotees who are meditating upon me, who are practicing meditation upon my divine form, praying to me, I give them what they want, be it worldly wealth or spiritual progress. This is strengthened by the next word, chikitushi. Yat sakshat kartavyam param brahma tad jnatavati swatmataya sakshat kritavati. I am chikitushi. That means Parabrahman, which is to be realized. I have realized that. I know Brahman. And by knowing, I have become one with that. Brahma Veda, Brahmaiva Bhavati. As Mundaka Upanishad says, knowing is not knowing a thing intellectually. Knowing is direct experience, mystical union with the divine. So Chikitushi means that Parabrahman which is to be known, I have known, I have seen, I have experienced, I have identified myself, I have realized my identity with that Parabrahman. So Swa-Atmataya Sakshat Kritavati. That is why she is able to tell all these things. First, she practiced sadhana. Then she realized the truth. Once the truth was realized, she became one with that, just like the rivers entering into the ocean. Once she became one with the divine, whatever words were coming out of her mouth came directly from the divine itself. So this idea we find from the beginning to the end. She is speaking as if she is herself God, or the controller of the whole universe. So Chikitushi, I have known Brahman, I have become one with Brahman. Yajñānam prathama, yajña arhanam mukhya. Yajña means those who deserve to be sacrificed. Now there are a number of deities mentioned in the Vedic literature, Indra, Agni, Mitra, Varuna, and so on. All these deities are given offerings ceremonially in the Vedic sacrifices. Indraya Swaha, Mitraya Swaha, Varunaya Swaha, and so on. A number of such mantras are there. These offerings are given only to those gods who deserve to receive them. The story goes that originally the Ashwini Devatas did not have a place in the Vedic sacrifices. They were considered as inferior, and it was Chavan Maharshi who interested interceded on their behalf with Indra, the lord of the gods, king of the gods, and got them a share in the sacrifices. So that means only certain classes of gods like Indra, Mitra, Varuna were considered to be fit enough for receiving sacrificial oblations or offerings. Out of such people who are fit to receive sacrificial offerings, I am the first. Yajñānām prathama. So Vāgāmbhani Rishi, after identifying herself with Parabrahman through Sakshatkara, is telling that I am one with all these gods who receive ceremonial offerings in the yajñas, sacrifices, and among them I stand first. Yajñānām prathama. In fact, Taittiriya Samhita says, Yajño vai Vishnuhu. Yajña is Vishnu, Vishnu is Yajña. So through Yajña, sacrifices performed properly, we can realize God Himself. That seems to be the idea. We have a nice shloka in the Bhagavad Gita about this. Saha yajñāh praja srištva purovacha prajapatihi anena prasavishyatvam yeshavostushta kamathu parasparam bhavayantaha etc. Prajapati Chaturmukha Brahma, God the Creator in the beginning, created Indra, Mitra, Varuna, the gods on one side and the human beings on the other side. And He connected them with the link known as yajna or sacrifice. So yajna system is that which links the human beings with the gods and gods with the human beings. The human beings propitiate the gods through yajnas, and responding to their prayers, gods give them what they want because the nature is under their control. They give them rain, they give them food, they give them wealth, they give them health. So that means in the cosmic scheme of life, everybody has a place, and everybody is given a particular position and power, and he has to exercise it in accordance with the law promulgated by the Supreme Lord. The law is human beings have to propitiate the gods, appease the gods through the sacrificial offerings. The food for gods, that which maintains the gods, is the offerings made in and through the consecrated fire. It is that which nourishes them, which gives them strength, which keeps them alive to do their duties properly, and in return they give the human beings rain and food and so on. This was the belief in the olden days. Even though we may not agree with that part of it today, because we find that sacrificial offerings are very rare, and what has happened to the gods for the last 1,000 years or 500 years, are they starving and so on. The idea is not that. The idea is we owe a duty to certain powers of nature which are helping us bountifully, and once we do our duty to nature, nature gives it back to us. Parasparam bhavayantaha. This principle of mutual help and cooperation is very necessary if any society has to live. It applies to the human beings, it applies to the animals, it applies to the whole ecological universe to maintain that balance. So here, the Divine Mother or Yajna Vāgāmbhani is telling us that she is the first among those deities who receive the sacrificial offerings. Bhūristhatram bhūri aveshayantīm purutra bahudesheshu vyadadhuhu devaha vidadhati kurvanti. Bahubhavena prapanchatmana avatishtamana. The whole universe has come from Brahman. Etasmād atmanaha akāshas sambhūtaha akāshāt vāyuhu vāyoragnihi agnirāpaha adhyah prithivī prithiviyām oshadhayaha oshadhibhyo annam annāt purushaha. Taittiriya Upanishad gives a beautiful description of the process of creation from the Atma. The first tattva that comes from Brahman or Atman is Akasha Tattva. So from that the Panchabhutas come and ultimately rain and food and living beings. So whatever is there in this universe, everything, living and non-living, all that has come ultimately from Brahman or Atman. This Rishi has realized her identity with Brahman, Atman. Therefore, she is telling whatever exists in this world, all that is myself. Bahubhavena prapancha atmana avatishtamanam. I am established in this universe as the various objects of creation. Bhuri aveshayanti. Bhure bhureni bahuni bhuta jatani aveshayanti. Jiva bhavena atmanam praveshayanti. Tat srishtva tadeva anupravishat. Again Taittiriya Upanishad. According to the Taittiriya, Atman created the universe and also entered into it. What does it mean? Atman, Brahman, is not only transcendent but also immanent. If there is an object, that object has been created by God, it has come from God, so it is nothing but God, it rests in God. Not only that, God again has entered into it in the subtlest form, controlling it from within as the Antaryami. God is not only Bhuma, but also the Antaryami. So once we remember this Upanishadic statement, we can understand this statement of Agambarani easily. So she says, whatever created object is there in this world, everywhere, anywhere and everywhere, all that is myself. I am existing in the form of the whole universe, the various objects that exist in this universe. I have also entered into each and every one of these objects as the subtle Antaryami, the force within, controlling it from within. Both are possible. And both these ideas are there in the Upanishads. God is transcendent, God is immanent. Purutra bahudesheshu vyadadhuhu devaha vidadhati kurvanti. Realizing that the divine power, the divine force, the divine mother or Shakti is everything, exists as the various objects of the world, and is also the immanent power controlling these various objects from within. Realizing that the Devatas, Indra, Mitra, Varuna, these various deities in heaven, they have worshipped her in and through the various objects. So she is so great that even the gods, who have an important place in the scheme of cosmic scheme of life or creation, even they adore her and then worship her and honor her. So she is Pujya even for the Devatas. The Devatas see me everywhere, in everything, and they worship me in various places through the various objects. A more limited interpretation by the Vaishnava schools is they take the Sukta as being enunciated by Mother Lakshmi, and these interpreters, Vishishtadvaita and Dvaita, belonging to these two schools, they put it in this way. We have various aspects of Lakshmi in this world, Dhana Lakshmi, Dhanya Lakshmi, Vidya Lakshmi, Veera Lakshmi and so on. All these various aspects of Lakshmi are venerable to the gods. So gods have worshipped these various aspects and they have given it to mankind for worship also. So you can put it either way, it doesn't make much of a difference because ultimately whatever exists is the Lord Himself, the Divine Mother herself. Maya saha annam atti yaha vipashyati yaha praniti, yaha im shrunoti uktam, amantavaha mamta upakshyanti, shrudhi shruta, shraddhivam te vadami. Yaha annam atti maya, yaha vipashyati, yaha praniti, yaha im uktam shrunoti, mam amantavaha te upakshyanti, shruta te vadami, shraddhivam shrunu. Yaha annam atti, one who eats food. It is I who eats the food in and through him. Anna is not only physical food, but any object of enjoyment. Whatever is taken through the mouth, through the eyes, through the ears. In fact, while commenting on the mantra in the Chandogya Upanishad, that ahara shuddhau sattva shuddhihi, sattva shuddhau dhruva smritihi, smriti labhe sarva granthinam vipramokshaha, a very famous mantra. There Shankara says, ahara does not mean only the food that we take through the mouth. The literal meaning of the mantra is, when food is pure, mind becomes pure. So, those who are doing sadhana, spiritual practices, are advised to be very careful with regard to their food. If the food is pure, mind is pure. So avoid rajasic and tamasic foods and eat only those foods which are classed as sattvic. That is the literal meaning. Ramanuja takes it in that sense. Shankara accepts it, but goes one step further. He says, why should we take the word ahara as limited only to the physical food that we eat through the mouth? Ahriyate iti aharaha. Whatever is taken inside is ahara. And what is taken inside is not only through the mouth but also through the panchendriyas. What is seen by the eyes, what is heard by the ears, what is smelt by the nose, and so on. If these things are good, the objects of panchendriyas and the experiences that the panchendriyas get, if they are clean and pure, naturally they conduce to the purity of mind. We know very well, if you see dirty things, hear dirty things, mind gets polluted. The mind should not be polluted. We should not only avoid bad things, seeing bad things, hearing bad things, we should also cultivate seeing good things and hearing good things. That is where the utility of Shravana comes. We are all coming to the ashram, taking part in the prayers, listening to the discourses, and they are all part of our spiritual life. The more we listen to the good things of life, the more greater is the elevation of our mind. So ahara is just not that only which we take through the mouth, but everything else which we experience and enjoy in life. Now in order to take and then digest, we need some power within. Prana Shakti should be there, digestive power should be there. If there is no digestive power, Vaishwanaragni, then nothing can be digested in life. We can take, but it will all come out. It will not be digested. So there must be some extra power here which can assimilate the food that is taken. Now Vaganghani is telling us the power in the Jivatmas which is responsible for their taking food, consuming food, and for digesting and assimilating that food is myself. That power comes from me. Maya saha annam atti. He eats food because of me. He is able to take food, eat it, and then digest it, assimilate it, and get strength because of my power working within him. Yaha vipashyati. Then there is another person. He is seeing. Yes, we think that we have an indriya called eye, and we are able to see. But the divine power is telling, no, The eye is there, no doubt, but the power of the eye to see it comes from me. We have the physical eye, but if the optic nerves are not good, there is no use having a perfect physical eye. Even supposing the physical eye is good, the optic nerves are good, but the mind is not joined to it, there is no use. Sometimes we see that people sleep almost with open eyes, half open or fully open eyes. Gorke ಹೊಡಿತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ನಿದ್ದೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ. Suppose the person is very fond of Mysore pak, we just dangle one piece in front of his eyes, there is no reaction. Because the mind is not attached to the sense organs. Ultimately it is that which is important. Keneshitam patati preshitam manaha. Kenopanishad says, what is that? Impelled by which the mind is able to go and alight on the objects of senses, grasp them, understand their significance. It is the Atman power. So when somebody sees an object and is able to get knowledge out of that, it is my power that is working through that. Yaha vipashyati, one who is seeing, if anybody is seeing an object, it is because of my power behind it that is helping him to see. Yaha pranati, then there is another person who is breathing, is able to live. The act of breathing, the act of living, that also needs the divine power, divine presence behind it. The Brihadaranyaka Upanishad gives a very beautiful description of the man who is dying. He is now lying on the deathbed. One by one the senses are all leaving him. People around him who have gathered around him, they are very anxious about him, but they know that everything is gone, there is nothing that can be done to save him. So suddenly he closes his eyes. Then they say, now his eye is gone. Physical eye is here, but the power to see, that is gone. The Shakti of Aditya, sun, which was working through this, is withdrawn by Aditya into himself, so he is unable to see. Like that is a beautiful description. So Prana Shakti is given by Vayu. Vayu withdraws the power. So he is not able to breathe, he is not able to live. So if a person is able to breathe and live, that is because of my power working through him. Yaha in uktam shrunoti. There is one theory, I do not know whether it can be conclusively proved. The general impression is that Pranava or Omkara is the most important word in the Vedas and the most ancient word that indicates God. But some of the modern scholars, they say no, Pranava or Omkara came later. The earlier word is Aim. Aim is the word used for God. It takes the place of Pranava earlier, before Pranava or whatever it is. But here, the word Aim is interpreted by Sayana as Uktam. Yaha Aim Shrunoti, one who is able to listen to, hear, Aim, that is whatever is spoken by others. Somebody speaks, I hear. Now how is it that I am able to hear that and understand? Because of the Vagamprani's or Divine Mother's power behind it. The power is working, so I am able to listen, I am able to hear, I am able to make sense out of what I hear from outside. Yaha em uktam shrunoti mam amantavaha te upakshiyanti shruta te vadami Shraddhivam Shruno. Ye idrishi antaryami rupena sthitam mam na jananti te amantavaha amanyamanaha ajanantaha upakshiyanti upakshinaha samsarena hinaha bhavanti.